We got off to a weird start though. I arrived yesterday and I went out for breakfast. I hadn't done my hair, I had no makeup on, and the waitress mistook me for a man. She went, "What would you like, sir?" And I went, "Clearly a more feminine appearance." But I'm having a lovely time here. I am from New Zealand. It's a tiny country. We have lots of beautiful mountains and lovely rivers and incredible scenery. It's basically Canada's greatest hits. And New Zealanders, we're quite laid back as a people. To give you a context, a New Zealander in a frenzy is an American in a coma. I love it when we get Americans and audiences back home because they do that whole, "Ow! Woo! Yeah!" thing, which is fair enough because I believe if they don't, they die. I've started going to the gym for the first time. Yay, I don't like it. Boo. I haven't got the etiquette sorted out. I was doing some press-ups by myself, and you can tell me whether this is the correct etiquette or not, but a man I had never met before came over and started correcting my technique. Is that right? I didn't think that was right. I'm just there doing these push-ups and he comes over and he goes, "Oh, love, if you want to get any benefit out of that, you're going to have to get down lower and get your elbows in tighter." And I said, "Oh, thanks. Well, since we're swapping advice, your haircut's shit and you're too fat for those shorts." Achievement that I'm most proud of, though, is probably not going to sound like a big deal to you guys, but you women are going to understand what a massive deal this is. I have finally bought myself a new bathing suit. It is such a big deal. I ended up getting mine on the internet because the lighting's better there. And the reason I got one is that my little son has started swimming lessons and you have to go in the water with him. So we turn up at the pool for the first lesson. I'm wearing my new bathing suit. I'm feeling great. It's a sort of 50 retro number. It's bright red. It's got white polka dots, a white holder neck, little skirt. I'm feeling great. We get to the class. Someone else in the class is wearing exactly the same bathing suit. But she was 2.5. To me, "Don't worry, darling, no one's noticed." I was like, no, every woman in the pool is going, "She's dressed like a frickin' toddler." And the worst thing about it was, it looked better on her. Because she had bigger cleavage. Yeah. That's obviously just a joke. She wasn't a 2-year-old with cleavage, although you are looking at me like, well, Kel, it's plausible. So my son, I have one son, he's an only child. I prefer to call it limited edition. And I left it quite late to have him. I was 38 when I had my son, and I don't think it's harmed him in any way to have an older mother. Although I have noticed that when he bends down to pick stuff up, he does go, because that's what mommy does. And the big thing that I've discovered about parenting is that no matter how much you love your child, you know that at some point you are going to screw them up for life. And it doesn't matter how good your intentions are. You don't know when that's going to happen. Like, we took my son to a transport museum because he really loves things that are boring. So we took him to this transport museum and he was fascinated by this horse-drawn bus, but he was scared of the life-size model horse in front of it. And so I pick him up and I go, "It's okay, darling. Look, mummy's patting the horsey. Look, I'm patting the horsey on the nose. I'm patting the horsey. Do you want to pat the horsey? It's okay." And so he finally reaches out his little chubby, trusting hand and he's just about to pat the horsey on the nose when it started to talk. And he lost his mind. And it was just terrible because he was so frightened, but it was fucking hilarious. There is nothing like the guilt of a parent finding their own child's distress funny. There is no guilt like that. And then I was like, oh my God, that's it. I have ruined him and horses for life. He will be frightened forever of horses. And sure enough, as we went around the museum that afternoon, every time we went near a horse, he would just cling on to me like a sort of emergency koala position, just cling on to me. And the thing is, my son is not a very cuddly child, so I was quite enjoying it. We found ourselves going near the horses quite a lot. I don't just have a child, I have cats as well. I'm a bit of a cat lady. I have a husband and son purely for camouflage. But I've realised I've turned my husband into a bit of a cat lady as well, because the other night we caught ourselves having an argument over what their voices sounded like. Does anyone here do the voices for their pets? A couple of people do. My favourite answer so far has been a woman who put up her hand and said, "I have a dachshund, And I said, great, you have a Dachshund too. Maybe you're the same lady. She put up her hand, she goes, I've got a Dachshund. And I went, great, what sort of voice does he have? And she goes, he's German. And I went, lovely, what does he say? What sort of stuff does he say? And she goes, I don't know, he's German. You've been absolutely gorgeous, Montreal. My name is Cal Wilson. I'll see you later.